Hello everyone, and you're watching Cooking with the Word. Today's episode we're going to be having good old-fashioned tomato gravy and biscuits, or as I always called it growing up, tomato gravy and biscuits. There's nothing better than tomato gravy and biscuits. Actually the best food that I've ever ate in my life. My mama always made it, and now I'm lucky enough to have my wife to prepare it for me. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make the biscuits. We got the oven heating at 475. Time the oven is heated up, we should have everything done. What we're going to need, very simple. You need your self-rising flour. The reason we use self-rising flour, I'm a dad. I don't want anything hard. So we're going to make it as easy as possible. We got our self-rising flour, butter Crisco. Best thing that I've used so far, or any kind of shortening with butter flavor in it. 100% buttermilk, the good stuff. You don't want it watered down because we want that buttermilk taste in these buttermilk biscuits. I'm going to take the pan, we'll put oil in it. You're going to need a biscuit cutter. Why buy a biscuit cutter when you got a cup? This cup right here is my biscuit cup. It makes a perfect round biscuit. And we just need some oil, and we're ready. The reason I'm using this type of bowl is because it don't activate the flour as quick as a watermelon bowl does. So we're going to use this type of bowl right here. So stay tuned. And here we go. We're going to start out first with our buttermilk biscuits. It's the way Mama used to make them. The only difference was Mama actually used she had the sifter and she used her hands and made perfect biscuits. Her biscuits were so good you could eat them like a dessert. They were just absolutely amazing. I'm going to do the best I can. First thing you want to do is take your mixer. I like something big because it's easier on your wrist. And you're going to get some shortening. Now I've seen people take the shortening and mix it into the flour, but I like to do it like this. I found out that it's a lot easier to do it this way. And you might say, well, how much shortening do I use? Well, the monthly amount of measurement comes down to one word, some. So make sure you use some shortening and make sure you use enough. You put all that in there and just mix it on the sides. Just completely cover the sides and the bottom of the bowl with the shortening. That's what we used to call it, the lard. Put the lard everywhere. Okay, we got that done. So now we want to add the flour. How much flour do we add? Some. We will make sure we put some flour in here. According to how much you want. Just dump the flour in until it looks like, hey, you know, I believe that's about enough right there. You got the flour in. Once you get the flour in, what you want to do is mix all that together. What's the word, Jessica, that you use for this? The constitute, or what was the word? But you mix all this together, and you can't make biscuits without making a mess. It's going to go everywhere. That's okay. My wife and I made a deal when we got married. I'll cook and she'll clean, so messes is fine. You get all that mixed together. Get your flour in with it. Just rub it against the sides and all your flour will mix together. You can see that. Scrape the flour, the shortening off the sides. And then scrape it off the bottom. And see, it's all mixing in together like that. It's the cheating way, I guess you could say. Then we're going to make us a little trough in the middle, just a little bowl in the middle. And then here comes the good part. This is what makes it really good. The buttermilk. You're going to pour that in there. How much did you put in? Some. I'm going to put some in there. You think it's enough? You know what? If that's not enough, what you do? You add more. It's real simple. I'm going to mix this now. Just turn it in just a clockwise circle of motion, and it'll slowly mix against the sides. See how it's mixing in? You see it's still got a little flour at the bottom, so I'm just going to keep turning it. And it seems like maybe it's just a little bit too moist because it's going to stick to your hands and everything. The oven's ready, so that's going to be good timing. So what you want to do if it's got just a little bit too much moisture, just take your hand, get your flour out, just put it on the top, just mix it in, and then you want to roll it. Just roll it into it. If you make biscuits and you don't have flour over your hands, then you just made frozen biscuits, and ain't nobody likes frozen biscuits. Look at that now. That's going to be absolutely perfect. These biscuits are going to be good. A lot of people like to put a lot of butter on their biscuits before they make them, but I found out the butter is actually better after your biscuits are hot to put the butter on after they're done. Now, you got your dough done, so what you want to do, you want to take the flour, put just a little bit more on top of your bread, your dough. Then you want to take and mix it out on your cutting board. Then you want to take your oil, put your oil in your pan, and you want enough oil in the pan, and I'll show you why you want extra oil in the pan. Just get it all smooth in there. Look at that, that's a lot of oil, right? And you're going to take your bread, put your dough out on the cutting board. You make sure you get it all because you don't want to waste any whatsoever. You want to get it all out of there. Clean the bowl. And yes, I wash my hands really good, but you want to get a little flour on your hands. Mix the flour on it. Now we're going to knead this dough, and we're going to beat the dough to death. It kind of reminds me about how whenever you get saved and the Holy Spirit comes into your life, and the Holy Ghost, and God has to take you and knead you, toss you around. You know, the world will toss you too. The world will give you a lot of problems, but when God gets a hold of you, He's getting you activated. That's what we're doing to all the things inside the flour right now. We're getting it activated. It's going to make it rise in the end. Did you know that? Just like Jesus when He was beaten on a stake, 49 lashes, or 39 lashes, 40 save one, then hung to a cross. His flesh was beating. He was beaten and beaten and beaten. And then when they laid Him into the tomb, after being beaten, just like we're doing this flour here, just like we're doing this dough, when they laid Him in the tomb, He rose again. And that's what this bread's going to do. It's going to rise. So get it all beat up real good. Nothing like biscuits like Mama used to make. You'll never find biscuits in a store that tastes like this or in a restaurant that tastes like this. It's just good old-fashioned biscuits. Now we want to pat it out. A little bit more flour. Get it all patted out good. When my son Isaac was young, he always done this part for me. He cut the biscuits. Got the bread patted out, so you want to put a little bit of flour on your cutter. This is our fancy biscuit cutter right here. Push and turn. Turn out of the way. Push, turn. Push, turn. You just want to take this biscuit. Now this is what you're going to do. You're going to take this biscuit, you're going to put it in here and flip it. That's going to put the oil on both sides, and that's going to make your biscuit a little more crispy that way. Just put it in, flip it. Put it in, flip it. Now what I always do, I always prop up one side just a little bit to keep the oil run down to the bottom. Now I'm just going to use these paper towels to do that. Then push, turn, push, turn, push, turn, push and turn. And we put some more in there, flip them, put it in, flip it, put it in, flip it. Watch this. Push that up together. Put it in, flip it. Push that in, pat it out a little bit. Put it in, flip it. Biscuits won't be as perfect round biscuits, but I guarantee you, when you taste them, you're not going to care. Let's get this one more in there. Now see that? Now we're just going to put them in the oven, and you just watch them until they turn brown, and they'll be done. There's no certain amount of time. You just keep your eye on them, and we're going to cook them some. Okay? All right, folks, now's the best part of this episode, the tomato gravy. Nothing in the world like tomato gravy. It's the best thing I've ever made in my life or ate in my life. But I don't know how to make it, but my wife, she's really good at it. Just like Mommy used to make. Jessica, can you tell us what all we need for this?
You're going to fry up some bacon. You're going to get it in your pan and just get it fried up.
Do you need to grease the pan?
I pre-greased it before I started. It's a non-stick pan, so I spray it or pour some vegetable oil in it and spread it around with a paper towel real good. You want to do that to your non-stick skillets anyway to preserve them. Hey y'all, we are frying up this bacon, and the reason we use bacon is because we like the flavor. But you're more than welcome to use sausage. But we prefer bacon. Well, I prefer bacon. So that's what I'm using, and the reason I'm using it is because you've got to have some fat in your gravy to put with your flour.
Oh, look at that in there. Don't that look good? Now it looks like maybe the bottom's brown a little bit more than the top, so that's easy to fix. What we're going to do, we're going to go up here. We're going to switch it over. We're going to turn it off, switch it over to boil, start it. Now this won't take long. It only takes a matter of seconds, so you got to keep your eyes on it. Now all we're going to do is brown the top just a little bit, and these biscuits are going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, after just a minute or so on roll, first thing I'm going to do is turn the oven off because you don't want to forget it. Bacon's going good. Look at this. Wow. Would you look at that? Good old-fashioned buttermilk biscuits. I mean, let me take this fork right here. Look at this. That's tender, loving love right there. That's all that is. Look at that. Now, those are going to be absolutely amazing.
Hey y'all, I'm getting ready to flip it.
Man, that looks good. How's the smell on the biscuits and bacon now?
Okay, y'all, we are going to get the bacon out of the pan and leave the bacon grease in the pan to make your gravy. And I'm putting the bacon on paper towels to get as much grease off before you eat it, because nobody likes to eat a bunch of grease, and it's not healthy, by the way. But you want to keep this brand doesn't have a lot of grease on it. Certain brands have more, but we are not going to take any of the grease out because there's plenty. There's exactly enough in there.
There's some.
Yes, there's some. There's the right amount, the perfect amount to do your gravy.
And bacon flavor makes everything better.
Okay, I am adding the same flour we used for the biscuits to the baking grease in the pan.
How much you going to put?
We're going to put some. We don't use exact measurements here. You don't want to put too much at first, but you want to put enough. And you want to add your salt.
What kind of salt is that?
That's pink Himalayan salt. It's the healthiest salt you can get. And we're adding some pepper. It's McCormick brand. And you're going to whisk it in the bacon grease until it gets good and brown. And as soon as it gets good and brown, we're going to start adding our tomato juice.
That looks good already.
Yep, it's ready. So I am going to get my Food Line brand tomato juice, and I'm going to start adding it.
How much you putting in?
Some.
It looks like some.
Yeah, and I'll add more as I go, I'm sure.
So that's tomato gravy with tomato juice and not
Yes.
tomatoes,
Yes.
which is much, much better. Just like Mama used to make. By the way, my mom is probably the best cook that's ever been alive, so the things she handed down to us, we treasure, and we're glad to be able to still make them today. Looks like you put some in there.
You have to add some more as it starts to cook down.
So there's a certain color that you go for? Certain redness, or?
Not really. I don't add any water or cream to it. I've read people like to add cream to their gravy, and it will give it a creamy flavor. So you can do that if you like. But it's just all tomato juice. I think that's about the right consistency. I'm gonna let it get up to a boil and check it one more time to see if it needs.
It's boiling now. Looks good.
Yeah, it's coming up to a real good boil, and it's getting a good thick consistency.
Taste it already. Can I sample some now, or is it too hot?
It's probably too hot, but you're more than welcome to.
Now you can also add a little chicken broth if you want to take some of the tanginess out, right?
Yes.
If you don't like the tangy tomato taste, you want it just a little more bland, then just add a little bit of
chicken broth
to it.
Yeah. It makes it taste really good too.
You know, we like the tanginess, so we're not going to put the chicken broth in this time. Next time maybe we will. It's according to the mood that we're in at the time. So when are you going to know that this is done? When it's done?
It's to the consistency I like it to be right now. So this, I would say, is done. We would just need to get some of your biscuits to try it.
And now, as I promised you, now's the time for our special dessert. Something you've maybe never heard of before. It's going to be fried lemon with apples. We're going to take a lemon, Granny Smith apples, and we're going to mix them together. We're going to fry the lemons and get all a good sauce with brown sugar and cinnamon. We're going to take the sauce and we're going to add it to the cooking apples with plenty of butter. It's going to be delicious. Wait, now this is the way we're going to make this. This is something new that we really hadn't ever tried before, so we're going to try it. I'm going to take one slice of lemon. I'm going to take some butter. Put it in a frying pan. And get it melted really good in the pan. Cooking with a knife probably is not a great idea, but it'll work for now. And how much butter we want to use is some. Just enough to coat it real good. Get all in there. I'm going to take this slice of lemon. I'm going to look inside through the light, and I'm going to make sure I get all the seeds out of it. So I don't want to be eating the seeds later. I think that's about enough right there. Then I'm going to just drop the lemon down. I'm going to start it to fry. I got the lemon on frying, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take some more butter, a little bit more this time, because it makes a really good sauce. We'll put it in a saucepan, have it heating up. Once it gets warm, we're going to add the apples in, and they're going to cook down to almost like an applesauce. Then I'll show you what we're going to do after that. We got that lemon frying pretty good, so what we're going to do now, we're going to add just a little bit of brown sugar to it. So how much sugar, brown sugar do we need to add? How about maybe some? Cook that all in there real good. What that's going to do is it's going to make a really good lemony brown sugar syrup. Okay, we got the apple butter going over there, so I'm going to add them in. Now, we don't want any of the moisture to escape, so what we're going to do is we're going to cover it with a lid. We got this lemon frying. Look at this. And the reason we want to do this is making a good syrup right here. Flip it over. Once we flip it over, we're going to add a little bit more brown sugar. How much brown sugar? Some. Put that all in there. See, that's making a really good syrup right there to go with the apples. And the reason I left the peel on, because that zest of the peeling gives it even more of a lemon flavor, much more than just the inside of the lemon or the juice will do. Look at that. Let's check these apples. Oh yeah, they're frying up good. Look at that. It's looking good. That looks like our lemon is cooked down really good. Look at that. It's kind of just like a skeleton left there. What we want to do is just, look at that. Just dump it all right in there. Lemon and all. Just put it all right in. Don't waste anything. Sometimes we do some, but this time we do all. Put it all in there. Does that look good? Just gotta let it cook down just a little bit more. All right, now let's check it again. Let's see what we got here. Alright, it's looking good. Look at that, would you? Got the lemon. So all we have to do is take the lemon, just pull it right off of it. Look at that. You got all the taste left in there behind. That's going to be absolutely delicious. Look at that, would you? Alright, now's the time for the taste test. That's my favorite part.
Yes.
So take the biscuit and we're just going to kind of crumble it up. That's what I like to do when I was a kid. Just crumble that biscuit all up real good. Look at that. Look at the inside of that biscuit, how soft and just lily white that is. Look at that. I'm just going to put a little bit of tomato gravy on it. Then you want to mix it up real good. Ooh, Lord, that looks good, don't it? Mm-hmm. Look at that. Now, my lovely wife has decided that she's going to be the guinea pig and try it this time.
It's a hard job, y'all, but it's so worth it.
How's that?
Good.
It's good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
The dessert's coming up next. I can't wait. Now for the tasty resistance, the very, very, very best part of this whole meal, other than tomato gravy, the dessert. I love dessert, don't you?
Yummy. Yes.
Let's take you. Look at that bread. Wow. Would you look at that? It's like Mama used to make. Not as good as Mama's, but close. Let's take you a little bit of this lemon apples. got a taste tester for today. See what you think. Yeah, it might be a little warm.
Yummy, yummy. That's some good apples and lemons.
That's really good.
It is.
Not as good as the Lord. The Bible says, Jesus said, taste and see that the Lord is good. He is. But this food is good. Not as good as God, but the food is good. Next week, we'll be coming back at you again. Thank you for tuning in.